guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. First off, we have a couple things to address before jumping into today's install video of the Perrin pitch stop brace, which I'll get into in a minute. But first of all, a couple things. Thank you to everyone who's recently subscribed. I greatly appreciate it as we are growing. It was kind of out of nowhere, but hey, I appreciate all of you. As always, if anyone has any questions, comments, concerns, discussions, debates, drop them below. I'll jump in. I've made a point to respond to almost everybody I can get to. I think the last couple videos I had like 500 comments. I think I got to about 450-ish of them. It takes a little bit of time to go through and go and reply to all of them. But your guys' time is just as important as mine, so if you comment anything like that, I will get back to you. Just give me a little bit of time if it's not right away. Secondly, I want to say thank you to Brian down in Arizona. He noticed the wall of license plates behind me here, and he decided to send a really cool one from Arizona. So thanks, man. Wax them. It's awesome. Anyways, let's just jump into today's install video. Like I was saying, we are doing the Perrin pitch stop brace. This is crucial for you V8 chassis owners. If you have a model year of 15 or 16, you're prone to having your pitch stop welds crack and break. And I'm going to be honest with you, it's not a quick repair. Subaru did send out a TSP for it a couple of years ago, so I mean, I think they're still repairing them when they come in. I'm not entirely too sure, but it's pretty critical element since it's essentially it's holding your engine there from pitching back and forward and whatnot. So my car is a 17. I don't necessarily need this, but I like to be very cautious when it comes to my car, so I'm installing it on mine. It comes with the clutch line, which when my lady friend gets off work, she's gonna help me bleed the clutch. But until she does, I'm gonna get through. I'm gonna start installing everything else, the brace itself and whatnot. So I've already gone through. I've taken out the intercooler piping, just so we have access down to that pitch stop area. If you have a top mount intercooler, you're gonna need to take it off to be able to get to it, obviously. But if you don't know that, now you know. So I'm gonna grab this camera. We're gonna go through the parts over here on my right, your left, and the tools on my left, your right, of what you're gonna need. Let's jump into it. Here, let's jump into tools first. So the first couple things, I have a breaker bar and a torque wrench here. You don't necessarily need the breaker bar, but you're gonna have to take out one of the bolts for your pitch stop, and it might be a little tight, so breaker bar might not be a bad idea. Secondly, you don't need these. They're recommended though. These are hose clamp pliers. We're gonna be taking off the clutch line, so your clutch is gonna leak a little bit of fluid, so I mean, if you have a pair, go for it. If not, just be quick in what you're doing. I also have 2 line wrenches. You're gonna need a couple line wrenches for when you are going through and removing that clutch line. I don't remember which one of these is better, but one of these really sucks, so I gotta back up and we'll find out which one. You're gonna need 10 millimeter, 14, 17, a 3/8 ratchet, a couple extensions if you got them, 2 Allen keys, an M6 and an M8, a 14 and a 17 millimeter socket. And then for parts wise, what Perrin sends you, you get a beautiful clutch line here. You have one side of the brace, the other side of the brace. They send you some zip ties, some riv nuts, which are really easy to install, the riv nut tool, the new pitch stop bolt, and then some other good guys down here, which are just random M6 and M8 bolts. So, with that, we're gonna move over here to le car and start going through installing these beautiful parts on this beautiful car. Let's do it. Alright, so the first thing we got to start doing down here is we got to get rid of this OE clutch line. So we got to take it off the master cylinder brace over here, or off the master cylinder over here, and we also need to take it off the clutch down here. So what we're going to end up doing is we need to take off the bracket that's mounted back here on the wall. There's a wiring harness we need to pop off of it. So that bracket is 12 millimeter. This guy is just a pop clip doodad. And then these are 10 millimeter line wrenches that we're going to have to pull off. We're only going to have to do one line wrench, and that is going to be on the master cylinder itself. The other one's going to be down here, and that's just a 14 millimeter. So what I'm going to do here is I don't even think the hose clamps are going to clamp onto that just because there's a doodad around it. So I'm going to have to be quick about this. I hate hydraulic fluid, first of all. So I'm just going to knock this out. So I'm going to start by getting off this wiring harness, take out that 12 millimeter bolt, and then get that clutch line off and the new one on. So this is the factory clutch system that I just pulled out. So this end here is the part that went to the slave cylinder. Well, that end there is the one that went to the transition. So, don't need that anymore. Now, we've got this nice steel clutch line coming up and around and then going right back there to the, sorry about that, right down there to the slave cylinder. So with that, now we can start getting the brace actually installed in here. So I'm going to start on the passenger side, just because that side seems to be a little bit easier. I'm not entirely sure yet. And then we'll jump over to the driver's side. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna run up to the bench right over here, grab the tools we'll need and the parts, and then start getting installed on the car here. And then we're gonna come back, we're gonna bleed the clutch at the end of this before I put the intercooler piping and everything else back on the car. All right, so now that we've got the clutch line done, the next thing we need to do is install the baby bracket right here. So this baby bracket is going to go on the left side of the firewall, just like that, and then the bolt's gonna end up running through that hole for the pitch stop. Now, we need to take out that plastic clip right there. So there's 2 holes under that, and we're gonna put riv nuts in there. If you've never put riv nuts in something, it's extremely easy to do. Once I get that out, I'll walk you through how to do it, but it's gonna be extremely simple. So let's just do the thing. Let's just do the thing and get it on. If you guys are a little OCD like me, you can take out this plastic clip that is clipped into the firewall. I don't want it. Or the zip tie. So now that I've got the holes exposed, we can get the riv nuts in there. Riv nuts overall are pretty easy to install. I've got one here, so as you can see, I have the riv nut on the end, the riv nut tool, an M6 washer, and the bolt itself. So what you're gonna wanna do is stick this riv nut inside the hole, take a 10mm and then tighten it down. As it tightens down, this is gonna expand outwards and grab into the firewall. So I'm gonna go ahead and install both of these, and then I will show you guys after they're installed of what they look like. So you guys can see what's going on here. So right there, right on that firewall right there, that is our riv nut that we have installed. So we have one there, and then there's one right behind that little wiring harness right there, and that's going to be it for the left side of the pitch stop. So taking 2 of the M6 bolts here, we're going to go ahead and get that guy put in there, and then we'll start doing this side. What fun times. It's really fucking cold out here. Jesus Christ, dude. Dark too. So let's get these guys installed. They're M6. This only goes on one way, so you've got the 2 holes right there that'll line up in the firewall with those riv nuts that we put in, and that'll line up with your pitch stop mount. So I'm gonna get this guy installed, and then we'll start doing the stuff for the driver's side. Alright, so as you guys can see, it's like right down in there. So those screws to get in there, real pain in the ass. It's a real challenge to get them because you have this one wiring harness right in the way, and then also that ground, but we got it in there. So I've got good news for the driver's side. We're about to knock this out. So this side we don't have to put any of the riv nuts in, thank God. So for this side, there's one threaded hole right there in between these 2 lines, and then we're also going to be utilizing the 2 M8 bolts on the master cylinder right over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to pull off the 2 12mm bolts for the master cylinder. Once those are off, I'm going to get this bracket aligned. So as you can see here, this bracket just sits right around the master cylinder. So once it's around the master cylinder, we'll put the 2 nuts back on, get the bigger M8 Allen thread on there, and then that'll be it for this side. And then we can get the pitch stop bolted back up and be good to go. Who doesn't like to be good to go? I like to be good to go. So I'm gonna get these guys pulled off, and we'll get it installed. So for the pitch mount stop bolt, it's going to be this long 17mm that Perrin supplies us with. So it's going to be bolt washer through the pitch stop, washer nut. So I'm going to go ahead and get this guy tightened down, get it going, and then we can wrap this up. Alright, so we just got the driver's side brace done. So it's I know it's difficult to see here, but right back there is the brace. So right where it barely says Perrin there, and then it wraps around to the master cylinder right there. And then we got our bolt in also. It's right back there. So the bolt's torque spec on these is gonna be 43 foot-pounds. I just torqued it down off camera because I needed the tripod out of my way for a minute. So all we have left to do is bleed the clutch, which is gonna be that guy right there, that little nipple right there. Right there. So while I'm waiting on the lady to come and help me bleed the clutch, I'm gonna get the intercooler piping thrown back in on the passenger side, and then just, I guess, wait until someone shows up. I have a vacuum bleeder, but I don't think it does the best job, and I'm a little low on brake fluid in my stash of goodies over there. Stash of fluids. So, I don't know if I should risk it. I'll call her, see what she says, but I'm gonna get this intercooler piping thrown back on, and then I'll recap when she gets back here. So I'm antsy and I don't want to wait. So I have a motive power bleeder here. I've got it hooked up to the brake master cylinder up here, and I've pressurized the system to 15 psi. That's generally what you're doing. Pressure test passed, so you let it sit for 5-10 minutes at 15 psi. Make sure that it passes the pressure test. It did. We have no leaks. So I also don't have a hose that's long enough for the nipple back there. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna soak up the fluid with paper towels, and then I'll clean it thoroughly afterwards. Hydraulic fluid is pretty corrosive, so I don't want it to eat away at anything. So I'm just gonna let it get onto the paper towels. I will then clean up said paper towels after I bleed this, and we should be good. So I've got it pressurized. I've got a 5/16 spanner that I'm gonna jump on here with. I'm gonna break it loose, let it bleed, and test out the clutch. If the clutch depresses, comes back just fine, we're gonna go ahead, throw the intercooler piping in on this side, and we'll be good. Where is the doodad? Where did I put the ratchet? Oh, that wasn't too bad at all. So if you guys don't have a motive power bleeder like I do, or an assisted vacuum power bleeder, go ahead, grab the buddy, have him pump the clutch up for you. Go ahead, open up that valve. If you don't know how to bleed your brakes, bleed your clutch, or anything like that, you guys can refer back to my brake bleeding video. Ooh, ooh, good stuff. But that'll essentially walk you through how to bleed your brakes. I'm gonna wrap this up. It is 34 degrees outside, and my hands have turned purple. But as always, I gotta keep to the schedule. So, like I said, if you're new to the channel, 2 videos a week. Tuesday, Thursday at, I'm gonna swap the time. It used to be at 5:30, we're going to 3:30 now. Tuesdays and Thursdays, my belt came undone. Not okay, my hands are fucking cold, dude, Jesus Christ. So, if this video helped you at all, if you were bored, or you had nothing else to do and you wanted to watch me walk around and talk and show you how to install this part, go ahead, smash like. Or type it, I don't know. Do whatever it is you gotta do, but I appreciate it. I appreciate all the time you spend here, all of it, and I look forward to spending more videos with you. The schedule is gonna change also for the videos. It's not gonna be 2 installs a week anymore because I can't afford that. Oh, can't afford it. So it's gonna be 1 video, 1 discussion topic, kind of like how I did with the reliability thing. Some other ones in the queue are blow-off valves, bypass valves, hybrid blow-off valves, comparing all 3. Oh, Jesus Christ. Comparing all 3 of those, we're gonna do talking tires. I got some new tires coming for the Subaru that I needed, just because I'm still rocking summers, and it's almost December, so my bad, my fuck up on that one, and I can't really drive in the rain now. But anyways, if you guys are not already subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe right up here. Whoop! And I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out, homies. Woo!